Ready?
Sounds good.
Live from SRP Park in North Augusta, South Carolina. It's the Augusta Jaguars taking on the Pacers of USC Aiken. I'm Robert Ambrose alongside Blake Collins. And Blake, it is a beautiful night for baseball here in this conference matchup between the Jaguars and the Pacers.
Well, not only a beautiful night here in Augusta, Georgia as well, but our North Augusta, South Carolina as well. But also, what a better way to celebrate opening day than to be able to be here and witness the Augusta Jags go toe-to-toe with the USC Aiken Pacers and celebrate not only the first time this year that these two crosstown rivals will go toe-to-toe, but also the opening day for Major League Baseball as well.
Absolutely. It's been a great day of opening day games going on all day today, and this is a good way to finish it off with a beautiful night here at SRP Park.
Yeah.
And let's talk a little bit, Blake, about what is at stake between these two teams. The Jaguars, they're 4-14 in conference play, 14-16 overall. So basically what that means is they've really done well outside of conference, but they've struggled in the Peach Belt Conference matchups. USC Aiken in the middle of the discussion, 9-6. They're in fourth place in the conference. Overall, they're 17-12. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. But for the time being, Blake, we're going to pause for the national anthem. Welcome you back here to North Augusta, South Carolina. Beautiful night on the river as we get set for baseball between the Jaguars and the Pacers. Blake, let's take a look at the starting lineups. We'll start with the visitors, USC Aiken. Leading off is the center fielder, Joey Smithers. The shortstop, Trey Paluski, will hit second. And hitting third, the designated hitter, Connor Durden. Batting cleanup, playing first base, is number 32, Alex Mills. And the left fielder, batting fifth, number 42, Blake Jenkins, will hit fifth. Doing the catching and batting sixth is Blake Bottomley for the Pacers. And batting seventh, the second baseman, is Philip Watcher. And batting eighth, playing third base, number 2, Chandler Rogers, batting ninth. And wearing number 8, playing in right field, is Sean McQuillan. And the starting pitcher for USC Aiken, we'll talk more about in the bottom half of this inning, is Daniel Wiggins. And the Jaguars take the field, and their defensive alignment from left field to right field. In left field, they'll have Skylar Murphy. In right field, Harrison Moore. In center field, Devin Billardello. From left to right in the infield, at third base, they'll have Ben Markevich. And at shortstop, Mason Robertson, Trent Maddox at second, and Patrick Watson at first base behind the plate. Doing the catching for the Jaguars is Bo Hanna. And on the mound for the Jaguars, the starting pitcher is Tony Jones for the Jaguars. And it's been, like I said, an interesting year. They've struggled for the Jaguars. They've struggled in conference play, but out of conference, they've been playing well, so they want to get one of those kind of performances here today. in order to take care of business. Last year, the teams played a 3-game series during Masters Weekend at Lake Olmsted Stadium across the border, the Jaguars' old home. The Pacers swept the series, and it was basically a non-competitive series. The Pacers most notably winning the middle game of that series 15-1, a game in which they scored 9 runs, all with 2 outs in the second inning, and it was basically over from then on. And we are set for first pitch here at Lake Olmsted Stadium. Joey Smithers will lead it off for the Pacers, and here comes the first pitch of the game. It is taken on the outside corner for a called strike 1, 0-1 on Smithers.
Fastball traversing over the outside corner, just biting it, as Tony Jones is a sturdy pitcher for the Jags. In a critical spot, he comes through in a lot of ways for the Jags. And this is a dynamic matchup here too, because not only do you have the leadoff man for USC Aiken, but he also has some speed as well. So if they can get this guy in Smithers on base, they can create havoc on the base pad. So we'll see what happens, but Tony Jones looking good here early.
Count no balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Down on strikes goes Smithers. 1 gone here to start this one.
Tossed him 2 fastballs and deviated just a touch with a change of speeds on the inside. Navigated over the outside corner twice. Not only that, but changed his eye level to a little bit lower in the zone. Inside, Smithers could do nothing with it but swing through it, and 1 man down here for the Jags.
And that's a called strike to Trey Paluski.
Tony Jones's fastball today has tight movement around it, and it's biting the corners very well here in the early going.
And the 0-1 is popped up. That's going to go foul. That may land on the roof here. 0-2. So we have not seen a single ball thrown in this game so far by Tony Jones and the Jaguars. He is very early on hitting his spots in this one.
Well, not only that, but that's something that you look for as a pitcher, especially from a pitcher-catcher perspective, and as a head coach too, attacking the hitters early, making sure that your players are on their toes at all times throughout on the field. And not only that, but short innings also help you on the offensive side as well if you can get back in the dugout and create on the offensive side.
The 1-2 pitch, lined into center field. There to get it is Bilardello. He makes the catch. That's out number 2 here in the first inning.
Great tracking ability there off of the fastball inside. That's a corner thus far that Tony Jones has lived upon to this very occasion, and he got a quick out there, swung straight through it, did Poeski, and just got it into center. But great tracking ability there from Bilardello to secure the second out.
And that's going to be grounded to second. And throw over to first is in time by Trent Maddox, and that ends the inning. A 1-2-3, top of the first defensively for the Jaguars. We go to the bottom half of the inning. Jaguars coming to bat on the Augusta University Athletics Network on YouTube. We'll be back. Welcome back to SRP Park. Bottom of the first inning, Jaguars coming to bat for the first time here in this one. Skylar Murphy will be the Jaguars' leadoff hitter. For the Jaguars, he's facing the starting pitcher for the Pacers of Daniel Wiggins. Murphy will be followed by Harrison Moore and Trent Maddox. The first pitch is a check swing, and he went 1-0 and 1.
With a lefty-lefty matchup like you have at the plate and on the mound right now, the advantage does go to the pitcher because he's able to hide the ball a little bit better. And for Skylar Murphy, it's a little bit more difficult for him to track the ball because of the release point of the pitcher not being able to see the ball coming through his hand. And on the first pitch was a swing through, and in the second pitch he painted the corner very well, did Daniel Wiggins. So Skylar Murphy's in a hole right now. Let's see if he can dig out.
And the 0-2 pitch, he fouls that one back, stays alive. As I mentioned, the Jaguars were swept in this series at Lake Olmsted Stadium last year during Masters Weekend, and what really hurt them is the tough starts they got off to, and they were never able to recover, so they want to get off to a good start here. So far, they have defensively. Now we want to see what they can do offensively here, and a check swing. He went to that one and misses. Down on strikes goes Skylar Murphy. One gone in the first.
Good pitch, a little bit lower than Skylar wanted there, and Murphy goes down on strikes and is sent packing to the dugout. Now it's Harrison Moore coming up, but one thing too, though, Robert, is the fact that when we
first pitch to Harrison Moore, that's a called strike, 0-1. Now the 0-1 on its way. Swing and a miss, 0-2 on Harrison Moore. Harrison Moore this season hitting .364, leads the team. He has started in all 29 of the 30 Jaguar games they've played in this season, having a very good year this year. He also has 30 RBIs, and he's walked 6 times, 6 doubles, and 3 triples and 2 home runs. So that's combined total of 11 base hits. He's got the power and he's got the speed for the Jaguars. 1-2 the count.
And if you're Wiggins here, you do have some room to work when you're ahead by a strike.
And Moore is called out on strikes, 2 gone. So the Jaguars 2 quick strikeouts to start here in the bottom of the first.
One being aggressive and one looking to start off. Wiggins is having a heck of a day so far on the mound, mixing up his pitches very well, painting corners, and overall just not allowing the Augusta hitters to be comfortable at the plate thus far.
Here's Trent Maddox. Called strike, 0-1. Maddox also having a very good season. He is a sophomore hitting .341, has 34 RBIs, which is a team leader. He leads the team in that category. And he's going to reach, and he slips when taking a turn to go to second on the overthrow, so he's going to have to stop and go back to first, but they're going to send him. Are they going to send him to second anyway on the ball going out of bounds? Let's hold on and find out in just a moment and see the ruling here.
I don't think the ball went into the dugout, so by rule, if it doesn't go into the dugout, it's still a live ball, and he doesn't advance. But Trent Maddox has been clutch all year long for the Jags, and he comes through here as well with 2 outs in the bottom half of the first inning. Could be what the doctor ordered for the Jags to shoot them off to a really good start.
It is ruled an error. I believe it's going to be ruled a throwing error that allowed him to reach first base.
Yeah, you had Watcher there. Really finesse and a really good job at diving to keep the ball in front of him. Just when he popped up, he released it a little bit behind him and pulled it. And that's where the error came in. He just could not connect on his target at first base.
Here's the pitch, and that's a called strike. And now the count 0-2 on Zach Goebel with 2 outs in the first and a runner on first for the Jaguars.
Yeah, usually in that type of scenario, if you release the ball behind your release point, the ball is going to sail. And if you release it after your release point, the ball is going to either tail down or
that is dropped by the second base Watcher, and on his way to third goes Maddox. A great effort by Watcher to get over to that one. He dove and just wasn't able to come up with the catch cleanly. Now we'll see how they rule that one. Watcher was charged with an error on the previous play that Maddox reached first. We'll see what they do here.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a base hit.
A phenomenal effort there by Watcher. Absolutely clean and running to get the ball on a tremendous pitch that was cranked out by Goebel there. But he just could not corral. And I'm wondering too if the transition from the sun going into the shadow had a little bit of effect on him tracking the ball as he dove in the shadow in right field to try to get it. And looking back at it, the ball's coming from the sun into the shadow, and that messes with your vision a little bit. So I'm wondering if that had an effect on that play there as well to allow first and third.
No balls and a strike on both. Misses downstairs. The Jaguars will host Lander for 3 games beginning tomorrow, over at Jaguar Field. Next weekend, they'll travel to Aiken to take on the Pacers for a 3-game series. That's lined into left field, and the catch is made for out number 3. So the Jaguars get a pair of runners on with 2 outs, but do not score. We remain scoreless as we go to the top of the second inning here at SRP Park. We'll be back. Welcome back to Augusta University. It's the top of the second inning. Alex Mills will lead it off for the Pacers here in this one. Here to start the top half of the second inning. The Pacers in the top of the first were set down in order, 1, 2, 3. So the Pacers looking for their first base runners. The Jaguars in the bottom half of this inning got a pair of base runners, but stranded them both. Both got on with 2 outs, and we see a ball to Mills inside to start the inning, 1-0.
Yeah, Tony Jones in the first inning did a fantastic job at cinching in the corners.
That's lined in the gap on the right side, and that's going to be a base hit. And the throw inside, a beautiful throw in from right field by Harrison Moore. That's going to hold Mills at first to a leadoff single.
You know, that play may go unnoticed, especially in the later innings. But on those type of plays, the attentiveness there and the hustle to get over there to be able to cut that off and hold Mills to a single was phenomenal by Moore.
And now the batter will be Jenkins.
And also, Robert, it keeps the double play in order for the Jags as well.
Yes, absolutely. You don't want to open up first base with runners on, and less than 2 outs if you're the Jaguars. So that's a huge factor there. First pitch to Jenkins, misses outside for a ball, 1-0.
Veteran hurler for the Jags has been in crucial moments for the Jags before.
And the throw to first in time, and they get the double play. And Blake, you mentioned it. It keeps it in a double play situation, and it pays off for the Jaguars right there.
Yeah, you couldn't have asked for better. A little bit of sink on that action from Tony Jones allowed for the ball to be rolled over by Jenkins in a picture-perfect flip from Mason to Maddox and then over to first base. Textbook double play by the Jags.
And we have a hit batsman as Bottomley is hit by the pitch. So that double play was a 4 unassisted 3.
And just one more thing on that double play. There's 3 different parts to that. Not only the catch, but then the transfer, and then the catch on the opposing side, and then being able to throw the ball. So all 3 components worked splendidly for the Jags to be able to turn that double play beautifully.
And a swinging bunt gets right back to the pitching mound, and everybody's safe. No chance for Jones to make a throw with how softly that ball was hit. And it's 2 on with 2 outs.
And the key to that for the Pacers was not attacking the ball with the bunt, letting the ball attack the bat and then squaring it up and guiding it over to third base. So that way you can control the speed and where the ball goes to be able to reach first base like they did right there to the Pacers.
And swinging strike, 0-1 on Rogers. So we saw the Jaguars with 2 on and 2 outs last inning, and now we're seeing the Pacers do the same thing here in this inning. See how the Pacers can, if they can capitalize or not. The Jaguars were unable to last inning, and that's lined in the gap on the left side and through. A base hit around second, Bottomley. They're going to wave him around. The throw home. Not in time. And Bottomley scores on his way to third watcher. It's 1-0 USC Aiken here in the second.
A tremendous job kind of scouting Tony on the on-deck circle, knowing where he was wanting to go on that particular pitch, brought his hands up on the bat, shortened his swing a little bit, and guided it into left field for the Pacers' first run. A phenomenal piece of hitting right there.
And that's going to bring up Sean McKillen, a sophomore from Cary, North Carolina. It was in the second game of this 3-game series when these two teams met at the lake last year, where in the situation the Pacers scored 9 runs, all with 2 outs to go up 10-1, a game they ultimately won 15-1. So far, 3 straight have reached base since the double play for the Pacers, and they already have a 1-0 lead here in the second.
A lot of times during that series, too, the Jags were trying to be a little bit too fine in their pitches and playing an over-finesse style of pitching, and that could cause tremendous damage, because if you look at it from that perspective, then all you have to do is sit and wait, out walks, and if you get something within your hitting range, then you can attack it and see what you can do with it. Tonight, it's a little bit of a different story, because Tony Jones is around the plate and making the Pacer hitters swing at the balls that he's throwing. Sometimes it's working out in his favor, and sometimes they are getting the better of Tony on the mound.
2 balls and a strike on McQuillan. Runners on first and third here with 2 outs. The Pacers trying to do a little more damage than what they've already done. Sloan trying to minimize the damage. He misses for a ball, and it's 3-1. He's 1 pitch out of the strike zone away from not only losing McQuillan, but loading the bases.
We also talked about it a little bit at the top half, too. The Pacers are tracking the ball really well this particular inning as opposed to last inning. They made an adjustment through that avenue, and it's paying off dividends for them.
And the 3-1 pitch is a called strike 2. On his way to second without a throw goes Rogers. So that opens up first base.
Yep. And that's the catcher's indifference and the fielder's indifference. But Tony is biting the corners extremely well here in the first two.
And a called strike 3, and that ends the inning. McQuillan thought it was ball 4. He had some words with the umpires, and the Pacers strand 2, but they do get a run across and lead the Jaguars 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the second here in the River. We'll be back.